Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday night live stream. We are on the portfolio stream tonight, so if you have a portfolio you want me to check out, then please add it to the Discord link, which should be in the top of the should be pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. But before we get started, I just want to show you a membership video, and then we'll get straight into it. So, you want to join my membership?
Gotcha. Sign up.
By joining, you won't only unlock members-only content, you'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month,
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet
you'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Alright, so as you saw there, you can become a member of the YouTube channel and you can unlock all the other tutorials that we've done so far. So you got the dragon tutorial, and just now we finished the anatomy tutorial. We are going to be moving on to a new tutorial next Monday, which will feature a character from Doom. Now I was going to get into it a little bit later, but there is a opinion poll or a poll in the YouTube chat if you want to see if you want to vote on which character you want to work on. I'll just go through that in a minute after I've gone through these messages here. So become a member and you can unlock those tutorials plus other videos like long form videos of my past time-lapse videos as well. And if you become a Patreon tier level 3, you can unlock the Velociraptor sculpt on how to sculpt a Velociraptor inside a ZBrush. It's pretty good. It's good for beginners and experienced artists, and it also gives you a cool looking portfolio piece. And also in the future there'll be other tutorials that will continue on from this one. So if you want, you can start now, build the high poly model, and then as it goes on, you'll see in the near future, how that's going to develop into a character, full-blown digital game character. And then we also have the ZBrush tutorial on how to sculpt a golem, rock golem, using hard surface techniques as well as organic techniques to create a rocky type creature. Go through the whole process of blocking them out and adding all the detail. It's a fun one to do, to break up between the organic style characters I normally do as well. And finally, for the last night, I know it says February 1st to 29th, but it is the 28th. This must have been last year and it was a leap year. For last night, Cute Brush automatic 30% off on all products. That's models, brushes, and tutorials. That's 30% off everything. So if you want, go to the links in the description box below for the Cute Brush automatic 30% off. Right, let me just turn on the chat real quick so you can see the chat down there. Put on some background music real quick. Coffee break. Let's do coffee break. Okay, and yeah, so this is, like I said, this is portfolio review. So if you have a portfolio you want me to check out, then please head over to the Discord. In the top of the chat, you should see a Discord link to join the Discord membership, and then you just go to the art portfolio reviews section and leave an ArtStation account or your ArtStation portfolio link in there. I prefer ArtStation portfolios because they're easier to show on the internet, and also to sort of navigate, and they're also very well, they are used a lot in the industry as a first port of call for hiring people. So ArtStation is probably one of the best ones to use portfolio wise. Okay, so I am going to just quickly fix something quick. There we go. That's better. Okay, chat's fixed. We are on 1 second. Thursday Chill stream episode 53, not 52, so that's wrong. Anyway, I'm all over the place tonight, but yeah. So I'm going to continue this creature, which actually no wait, the poll. Actually, let's do the poll quick. Sorry, I'm all over the place tonight. So I'm just going to bring this over to the side here. So Monday night live streams is normally a tutorial style live stream where I go over how to create a character in ZBrush as a tutorial style live stream, rather than this chilled live stream where you can chill and ask questions and we can sort of talk about other topics, right? But we've come to the end of the male anatomy for now, and I'm trying to think of a new model to as the next tutorial, right? And someone mentioned a Doom character. So if you have any opinions, and if you have a specific one you want to see or see created in real-time tutorial style, then I have 4 options. I've got the Imp, the Hell Knight, the Pinky, and the Prowler. These are all the original creatures from the game, the Eternals, taken from one of the artists who worked on it from ArtStation. I haven't got his link up here. I should have had, but anyway. So yeah, you got the options between these 4 characters. And what we'll do is I'll show you how to sculpt it inside ZBrush as a high poly model for your portfolio. And of course, this will be linked to the membership as well. So if you are a member, then you'll be able to, see this anytime. But if you aren't a member, you'll have to jump in on a live stream on a Monday at 8:30 every night, every Monday, to check that out for free. All right. So I'm going to put that to the side. Like I said, what do you call it? The poll is open. That's the one. The poll is open for you guys to make your bets or put your thoughts down. And besides that, I'm just going to continue sculpting this little character here until a portfolio comes through. This is one we actually started a while back, because we haven't had a portfolio review session on this stream for a while, and we kind of forgot about this character, and I really want to finish it, actually, because it's going to look really cool when it's finished. It's like a sea creature, alien type creature. I thought maybe that'll be quite cool, actually. So I'm going to continue to sculpt this whilst you guys plop your portfolios into the portfolio section. If there's no portfolios in the portfolio section, this will just be a complete. We'll just carry on this tutorial, this character for an hour and a half sculpt. There is something I want to show you guys. I don't know if anyone's seen the trailer of the Mortal Kombat film that's coming out. I just really want to share that with you guys and get your opinion on that as well. So that should be fun to watch in a few minutes or halfway through the stream. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a good week, and I hope everyone can hear me on the chat. If you can hear me on the chat, just say yes or no, and I'll make sure I'm not just talking to myself. That'd be great. So last week, I think not last week, the last time we looked at this geezer, we were just adding more details, I guess. We kind of blocked out the body, and we were just going through the process of adding more detail to him. I can't remember if I had any references for this guy, but I'll have to search next time for it. I'm just going to wing it for now. Yeah, I mean, once you get all the necessary parts made, like blocked in, then it's just a case of going around and checking that your model looks good from all angles, and the silhouette looks good. I think the legs need to be worked on a little bit. When I say silhouette, I mean that little beast, that little thing at the top here on the left-hand corner up there looks good. If you haven't got that, or you can't really see it very well, just hit V on the keyboard. Make sure that all the paint buckets are off, and make sure you have a texture that works with it. So let's go to the Blinn. I mean, Blinn's quite good. You can kind of see some of the forms as well as the silhouette. But I think the Matte Cat Grey, which is the one that comes with ZBrush, or is the best one to use in ZBrush as a starter material, is the best one. So when I'm talking about silhouettes, I'm talking about this sort of thing. So making sure your model looks good and has nice flow to it in the silhouette shapes is a key to good character design. Also making sure that your model that your model has the correct sort of proportions as well. That's a good thing to remember as well, is proportions on your character. So yeah, quite like those web feet, those kind of web feet toes that we got going on here at the bottom here. I think we mentioned we were going to add claws to them. In fact, what I want to do first is just come into geometry and turn up the Dynamesh, because now I'm happy with the shapes this guy has on his legs. I can then come in, turn up the Dynamesh, and just smooth out some of those rough edges a little bit. I quite like doing these kind of creatures because you can sort of let your mind run wild, right? You don't have to worry about photorealism. You can sort of make it up as you go along. It's always quite fun to do as a character artist or creature artist. Just using the smart standard brush. Clay brush. Right. Yeah, so I was like I said, like I mentioned, I was watching the Mortal Kombat trailer, which is really cool actually. It looks pretty good. And I think they kind of got the characters working better in this one. I mean, I remember the first Mortal Kombat remake film, and there was an issue with that film from the audience. The main character was just a made-up character. It was nothing to do with the Mortal Kombat. It was completely new and original, and I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot when they started working on with that sort of going down that route, of adding a brand new character to the Mortal Kombat range or the Mortal Kombat world. And so I think what they've done is they just completely got rid of him, because I don't think he's in the new trailer at all, or in the film. And so what they did is they probably got rid of him, knowing how much that the audience didn't really care about him too much, and they substituted him for, is it Johnny? Oh, what's his name? Can't remember his name now. I want to say Johnny Cash, but I don't think it's Johnny Cash. Not Johnny English. That's Mr. Bean, or Roland Atkinson's character, Johnny English. I can't remember his name now. It's going to drive me nuts. Johnny Cage, that's the word, Johnny Cage. So you have Johnny Cage now, who's the main character, and I think it's actually better that way, because he's an original character. He's one of the original characters from the game, and people love Johnny Cage. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to work well for that film. Okay. Right, just going to check the Discord, and there's still no one there, which is fine. Let me just refresh it. Maybe there's someone come through. Let me know in the chat if you can't actually get into there, so I'll try and fix that. But yeah, in fact, let's take a quick break, and I'll just show you the Mortal Kombat trailer because I think it looks really good. So I'm just going to change the view and turn the music off. It's probably going to get copyright for this because I'm not sure if the trailer's copyright, but ayo, who cares? Bring this over. I'm going to turn on the sound. I'm going to turn my mic. Oh, actually, I'm going to leave the mic on. All right, here's Mortal Kombat trailer 2 of Mortal Kombat 2.
You want to know what makes a hero? It's not destiny. It's not something you're born with. It's searching for greatness.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen for Mortal Kombat.
Then realizing you've had it in you this entire time.
Whoa! I really don't feel comfortable hitting a girl.
Don't worry. You won't.
Yo! Send me back. I want to go back.
The rules of the tournament are simple. Our fates would not be settled by the size of our armies. They would be decided by combat.
I'm not some great warrior. I'm not some champion.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
Me?
Earth belongs to me.
We do not kneel!
Our only chance to face this together.
Let's go, baby.
You, Johnny Cage, are a part of this now.
It's showtime.
Get over here!
Johnny would definitely die.
I gotta admit, that looked pretty damn good. You guys can hear me all right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, that looks pretty damn good, I must say. I think the audio just at the end, I don't know if that was audio was working for you guys, but just the end audio part where the guy shouts Mortal Kombat, it's just one of those iconic phrases from the 90s. I think it was actually the first film that made that song and that sort of that voiceover famous, wasn't it? I can't remember, but I think it was the film that made that song famous. But yeah, I tell you what, that looked pretty good in my eyes. Again, I think it was a good idea to make Johnny. What is his name again? Johnny Cage? Yeah, I think it's Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage. I think it was a good idea to make him the lead for that, like the lead character. Although, I mean, the was it not Kung Lao, the other one. What's the other guy's name? I completely forget what these guys' names are. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while. Mortal Kombat characters. The roster. Oh my god, they've got a roster online. Liu Kang, that's the one. Liu Kang. I think Liu Kang, because Liu Kang was one of the original in the original film in the 90s. He was the main guy, the main character, right? Of the show, and the others were just sort of secondary characters. But it seems like they've gone down the route of making him a secondary character rather than the hero of the film, which is strange because I always thought that Liu Kang was the OG, like Raiden. But oh well, I guess they wanted to go down a different route. It's nice though because I find that films are starting to catch on, right? They're starting to get the idea of what the audience wants and what the audience expects. If you look at the latest trailers that are coming out for films and TV show, or mostly films, they're starting to get the idea of what is expected from an adaptation, right? Avengers Doomsday. They finally got Cyclops in his blue uniform and yellow blue spandex and yellow sort of sash that he has. The whole gear, the whole iconic look of Cyclops, basically, which is basically what the fans have been asking for since the X-Men films came out back in the 90s. But for some reason they decided to go down the black suit sort of approach with the X-Men films, which I find is just weird, because if you have a really good iconic look from a cartoon, right, or comic book, why would you then change it to something completely different to what the audience expects? When Wolverine in X-Men, when Wolverine in Deadpool showed up in his yellow costume, it was a massive hit, right? The people were going crazy for it. It was actually quite good because we never thought that he was actually going to be in the suit, and it took him God knows how long. Was it like 30 years nearly, or something stupid, to actually get Wolverine in his yellow suit? I mean, they missed so many opportunities to make that show even better by putting him in the suit, the suit that we wanted to see. And the same thing for the X-Men in Doomsday. Like, the guy who plays Cyclops, he was the perfect guy back in the day in the 90s to play Cyclops. I think he had the perfect facial structure, and he had a good sort of acting abilities. But when they didn't put him in the suit, it just ruined it. It's a bit OP, by the way, Cyclops, if you think about it. As a mutant powers, that's pretty hardcore. Like, laser eyes, crazy. I would love to have been in the studio when Stan Lee was, talking about the different types of superhumans and mutants and stuff like that he wanted to create. Because I think, if I'm not remembering correctly, or if I'm remembering correctly, Stan Lee really enjoyed doing the X-Men more than he enjoyed doing the other ones. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man was his baby, right? It was his opus deus, yeah, opus deus, or his Mona Lisa. But then he really enjoyed making the X-Men characters as well, because of the way he could. It was a completely different storyline, wasn't it, with the X-Men? It was more about it being a taboo to have these superhuman powers, and how the world, how the mutants were sort of shunned from humanity because of their abilities. Yeah, I think it was rather well done. I think he also created the Hulk, I believe, as well. I mean, he created most of them, to be fair, but he also enjoyed doing the Hulk because it was just an angry guy, that I think I saw an interview with him when he was talking about the Hulk and how he came up with the idea. Just a guy full of rage. I think that would just been so cool to have been in that room when they were discussing the different types of characters that they could create for their comic books. And you don't get that type of... I feel like you don't get that anymore when it comes to character creation and ideas, right? It's kind of like a once in a blue moon type thing, where you'll get a brand new idea come through and it will be like a hit piece. But recently, especially recently, there's been a very... It's quite lackadaisical, or not so much imagination going on in the industry at the moment. It's kind of lulled, if you know what I mean. There's not much exciting new things from what I can see. You guys probably think there's more, or there is something, but for some reason I can't find anything particularly brand new that I can really say, oh, that's a completely unique design. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that finger there is a bit weird. Let's move that back. Might have to Dynamesh again because I've lost. Yeah, I've got need some more topology, so I'm gonna up the Dynamesh again, clean up the weird topology on the side here. You see here some issues here. If you don't clean this sort of things up in ZBrush, they can come back to bite you later, so it's best to just clean that up as much as possible before going forward. It's the one thing I've learned about ZBrush is to constantly check there's no holes in your character. If you find there's a hole in your character that shouldn't be there, then you need to, fix it as soon as possible. ZBrush is very temperamental, especially the versions like that I'm working on, like 2022 and lower. It's very temperamental when it comes to having holes in your character. Like, I mean, if it's a hole that you're purposely making for it, then fine. But if it's something that is not supposed to be there or isn't supposed to be a hole, then it does get temperamental, and it will relay that to you by crashing or, force stopping ZBrush sometimes. So just make sure when you're working on a character or a creature topology, that the holes that you don't expect there to be are closed, and the ones that are supposed to be there should be fine, but just make it blatantly obvious that they should be there. Bunging? Yeah. Hi, would it be possible to see your reference board whilst you are working on this? I can't find it. I don't think I had a reference board for this. I can't remember now. Let me just check. I'm sure there must have been a reference board somewhere. Can't. Yeah, I don't have a reference board. What if I just create one? So let me just stick on here. So this is the pure ref scene, and I'm just going to do this sort of off camera real quick because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube for inappropriate images on Pinterest, in case there is any. You never know. So what I normally do is I'll just go to Pinterest, or I'll go on ArtStation, or I just go online on Google, So this is kind of like a fish creature. So fish. I'll just type in fish creature. So I'll take that one, and I'll just start copying some images from Pinterest. So, you know, grab that one. That one looks pretty good. This one's pretty good as well. I think that one there is from what was it called? Aquaman, the trench creature. Now, of course, our creature is not going to be so evil looking. Ours is more of like a merman or something like that. Gotta be careful as well when you're on Pinterest, because there's a lot of what do you call it? There's a lot of AI generated images on here. So I'm not saying you can't use AI generated images. It's just a lot of people frown upon that sort of thing. So I mean, I don't mind using AI generated images as a reference to what I want to create if I come across it, but I'm not going to solely use it for sculpting. I'll use other artists' work or creatures from actual real. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Now, this isn't part of it, but I just like the look of it, which is pretty cool. Godzilla. And that's another thing. You don't have to have just references of fish or the thing that you're trying to create. It's actually sometimes it's cool to have references of other things that have nothing to do with it, so that you can sort of refresh your eyes and be inspired by something else that you might pick up from one of the other pieces. So sometimes I'll just grab some of those pieces as well. Quite like this. Just look at this one, like this one here, right? This one here, although it's not a fish, I love the way the body looks, right? So you could probably take the body of this creature and then use that as influence for your character, you know? So I'll just make this a little smaller, stick it down here. Yeah, it's actually it's a good idea to have any kind of reference, to be fair. You shouldn't really work without references, because well, you need them, right? You need references in order to create whatever it is you're trying to create. Bunning says, something I find difficult sometimes is choosing the right reference images. Is there anything in particular that you look out for when finding ideal reference images? Not really. It's a good idea to have an idea of what you want to sculpt before you sculpt it. But sometimes what I'll do, especially for time-lapse videos, I will just grab a bunch of references like I just did through Pinterest or ArtStation, or I'll find an artist's work that I find really cool, and then I will just try to replicate that sort of model, or I'll replicate that sort of image in a 3D manner. But you know, it's always good to have a sort of something to recall back to when you're sculpting. I'll make these legs a bit weirder. Yeah, that's better. Also, when it comes to creatures like these creatures, right, you'll probably first off you'll probably start off with a very humanoid looking character. But if you can, try to push your model or exaggerate those pieces of your model a lot more in order to get a more interesting looking character. Right, so what I just did there was now a lot nicer to look at and more interesting to look at than what was originally there. It's kind of like a balancing act, really, when you're doing this sort of thing. You want to balance out the design so that it's just right. It's got the right amount in one place and then a nice rest period in others. So that's kind of like what I like to do as well. with my models is to have periods of rest, and I'll call it rest and chaos, right? What I mean by that is if you look at the chest area, let's say, or this torso, there's areas of rest and there's areas of chaos. So the areas of rest would be the sort of chest piece itself, like the oh no, looks like it's gone down. Okay, looks like we're back up. What the hell happened there? Sorry about that, guys. It's just the internet's going all screwy. So everybody, yeah. Let's go to live. All right, hello. Are we back or are we screwed again? Okay, we're back. Okay, I'm just going to carry on. I don't know what the hell's going on with YouTube or StreamYard. Yeah, so as I was mentioning again, when it comes to areas of rest and areas of chaos, what I like to do is I like to break it up. So, you know, there's a major shape here, which is the torso. That's an area of rest. And then the chaos would be something like the side of his chest here. Where all this muscle is very chaotic, and it's, you know, got loads of little shapes and stuff like that. And then there will be another big shape, which will be the area of rest. Okay. Now, if you have too much chaos, if we have a look at these images here, I'll try and see if I can find some. So if we have too much chaos, let's see, is there an image with too much chaos? Let's just take Godzilla. Okay, let's take Godzilla. So this is actually quite well made, and it's not a lot of chaos. But let's say that if we had all this section here on the side of his stomach here, or the side of his chest here, if that was displayed all over the character, so all over the arms and then on down the legs, whatever, that would be too much chaos, right? It would be too many small pieces sprayed out over a massive area of the model, which is why it's broken up by different sizes of scales and shapes for scales, which, you know, help to sell it a bit more. It also gives your eyes a rest when you're moving from one piece to the other, from one part of the model to the next part of the model. And the same thing goes for these ones here. This one, where is it? This one here is a good representation of that. You know, you got the areas of chaos, which would be these types of scales that go down here, these platelets. And then you have the area of rest or calm on the chest, on the back, on the top of the head here, down the legs a little bit, on the hands. You know, you got nice pieces that your eyes can sort of dart around, and it makes your character more interesting because you can sort of see shapes and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by areas of rest and chaos when it comes to sculpting. Okay. By the way, guys, if you have a portfolio you want me to check out, then please leave a link in the Discord. Actually, follow the Discord that's in the chat at the top. It should be pinned at the top. And then chuck it in the Discord there under the art portfolio. This is a portfolio live review stream. So if you have if you have something you want me or portfolio you want me to check out, then by all means. Let me just check the poll real quick. I'm also doing a poll at the moment, so if I'll just grab that as well whilst I'm here. It's kind of how, you know, if we weren't going to do any sort of portfolio reviews, actually this is a great stream to find out what project we want to do next. So the next project was actually asked for by one of my other viewers to do a Doom character. So in the top of the YouTube channel or the top of the chat, there should be a poll there that you can vote on, and it's between these characters, and these will then, and the winner will then be something that we sculpt on Mondays. Now Mondays are a tutorial style live stream, so that means it won't be talking like I am now. It'll be just pure me showing you how to sculpt something from A to B or A to Z throughout the period it takes to sculpt it. So if you want to vote on which character you would like to see next as a tutorial live stream, then you have your choices between the Imp, the Hell Knight, the Pinky, and the Prowler. Let's just check real quick where we are with the vote. So at the moment, it looks like the Prowler is at 50%. Pinky is at the Hell Knight, sorry, is at 33%. Pinky is at 17%, and the Imp is at 0%, which is kind of crazy because I thought the Imp would be quite interesting to make, but it looks like we're going for something like this more, which is pretty cool. I expected the Hell Knight to get quite a high mark because everybody loves sculpting the Hell Knight, but you know what? I think I've done the Hell Knight before, so I think doing something like the Prowler would be a little bit more interesting for you guys and for me as well. So we'll see by the end of this live stream. We'll see where the poll ends and that. So yeah, hello tomorrow. Nice to see you here tonight as well. Bit late, but never mind. Let's close that. Right. So yeah, what are we going to do here? What else do we have to do here? We've got some fins coming out his side of his face here, which I think is pretty cool. I'm wondering whether or not to put a fin on his head or on his arms, because his arms has got quite a lot not going on his arms here. And I was thinking maybe we can add a fin in there instead. Let's just check with okay, let's grab this one. I'm going to duplicate that. Oops, turn off its symmetry. Just remember, when you have a model, there is a chance when you're sculpting it. There is a point when you're sculpting a character where you can do too much detail, right? So too much detail looks like it can make your model look a little bit messy. Now, this is sometimes fixed by textures because textures can actually help to layer the character a bit more. But yeah, so what I mean by that is if you look at a gray box model of a character or creature, sometimes they'll be so busy that your eyes will be confused with what's actually going on, right? So it can get to a point where things are too busy on your character, and you might need to just break it up a bit more and change things about a little bit. I wonder if we should actually just do spikes instead. Bunging, is that how you say it? Bunging? Do you follow the Loomis method when it comes to proportions of human projects? You mean the head height? Is that the head height method? Yeah, I try to keep the head height proportion, the Loomis method, in the back of my mind when I'm doing things. I'll tell you what though. Since MetaHuman and other programs, they kind of, you can do sort of like basic shapes. Like if you're doing a human character, especially in game design, I'm finding at the moment right now, is that instead of creating a character from scratch, especially if it's a photorealistic character, your studio will probably use MetaHuman or Character Creator at the very beginning of the project, and it's got its own inbuilt character creation software where it can change the shapes of the eyes and all that sort of thing. So all of that is kind of already set up for you, right? So you can do a basic height standard for your character. Now, the Loomis method, which is the, as you mentioned, the head height method, or as I mentioned, the head height method, it doesn't always work when it comes to stylized characters. But if it is a realistic character, like human character, then yes, I think is it 8 head heights for a male and 6.5 or 7 head heights for a female? I can't remember off the top of my head. But yes, it's not something that you have to worry too much about when you're working. What I've found, it's not something I have to worry about too much in a studio when I'm working in a studio, because they already have that sorted out for you because of character creator and metahumans, which is becoming more and more used in the industry for a base model. So it's not something I have to worry about too much. When it comes to creatures like this, or creature design, which is something that's more in my forte, it's something that I enjoy doing more. You don't have to worry too much about the head height, because you can make your creature any height you like. This one is probably 3 head heights on the torso, from the head to torso, and then about 4 head heights, kind of more along the lines of Overwatch character. You know how Overwatch character, especially the females, I believe, have an extra head height in the legs and one less in the body, because of, you know, the stylization of their characters, of the characters like that. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, when if you work in a studio, you'll probably find that you get the character from metahumans or character creator, because it's a costly thing. It's a cost thing as well. Like, time is costly, so you probably won't ever sculpt a human from scratch ever again, with the way things are going in studios. They'll always have some sort of baseline model to work from. Although that's what I've had in the studio work I've done. Unless it is like I said, a stylized character like Overwatch, then you will probably have to still sculpt that. But they might even have a base character for that, you know, in the in-house base character. So yeah. But if you're doing it for your personal portfolio pieces, then yes, Loomis method is the best method to use for your character. If you want a photorealistic or not photorealistic, if you want a realistic character. Okay. I think I'm going to leave these as spikes, really. I think they'd be better as spikes. Maybe I'll just add some sort of skin in the middle here between them. And then just rotate them. I'll tell you a film that I watched recently. I watched it on YouTube, actually. Funny enough. Because I got YouTube Prime, or Premium. I now get access to films, like free films on YouTube. And one of them was that really, really bad, but also really, what do you call it? It's not iconic, but it's, well, it is iconic, I guess, but it's nostalgic. Scary Movie 3. Now that's going back a bit. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's because it was a free movie and I just had some free time to watch something in the background. I stuck it on, and I'll tell you what, they need to bring those films back. They need to bring those films. They need to start making more films like those, because even though it's absolute schlock and it's just really bad, I still think it can actually beat some of the stuff that is coming out today in the cinemas. And it wasn't even costly to make those films, you know. Bellingham says it reminds me a little bit of one of the Ben 10 aliens. Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, that'd be quite a cool one to do after the Doom, I think. Like a Ben 10 alien, like, you know, redesign of one of those. I've never seen them before. I believe there's a new one next year. No, not a scary movie one. Oh my god. And you haven't seen the first ones? Oh. How old? I mean, it's probably a rude thing to ask, but, you know, I was a teenager when they came out. And so I kind of watched them as they came out. And of course, they've ruined a lot of good films because they were just piss takes of films that were popular at the time. So what they did was they just took the piss out of pop culture or popular culture at the time. And so you had a lot of films like Scream, obviously, in the first one. The second one took a piss out of The Exorcist and other films as well in that category, Charlie's Angels and stuff. But yeah, I think we need that. You know, I think we need that schlock back again, because I don't know about you, but films today, they already are slop, right? Films today, let's be honest. And I think what we need to do is we just need to have a scary movie film that takes the piss out of what's actually on like pop culture today, and not be sorry for it. You know, don't apologize for taking the piss, because you know a lot of people they're too afraid to sort of to do that sort of thing, to take a chance and take the piss out of something. And I think we just need to do that again, just to make everything normalized again, you know? Laugh at something. I mean, come on, you can't tell me that Rings of Power, for instance, by the way, I worked on that, so I can diss it. You can't tell me that Rings of Power can't be taken the piss out of. Or what's another one? Starfleet Academy. There you go. There's another one. You can take the piss out of that one. It's like it's right for the pickings, you know, for any for those sort of scary movie films to come back. Mungjin says, no problem. I'm 22 and they are definitely on the watch list. I've seen clips of them and they look hilarious. Dude, you are missing a treat. I envy you. I actually envy you for not having seen them yet. That's another thing I can't get around my head, is when I'm on YouTube, right, and I see people watching The Lord of the Rings for the first time. I'm like, how can you not have seen that yet? And they're older and they've been around since the films came out and they haven't seen the film yet. I'm just like, come on, you can't be that old and not have seen the best films ever made. But yeah, like Scary Movie is just it's like Austin Powers. If you haven't seen that as well, definitely see that as well. But it's a cultural phenomenon that sort of came about, and then they made loads of films of it, taking the piss out of pop culture, and then people got really sick of it, and so they just gave up. And then they gave up watching it. It's kind of like I guess it got like, I think it's kind of like the superhero films that we have today. There's kind of fatigue going on. That's what happened with the Scary Movie films or franchise. They got so cocky and it just started to become real slop at the end. Like they didn't really even try their hardest to you know, to make the films any good. But the first, second, and third film, well, maybe not the third film. The third film's all right, but the first and second film are definitely the best ones. Yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon. You gotta watch it. In fact, that's your homework from now for tonight or for the week, is to go and watch those films. And I tell you what, I mean, they knew what they were doing when they made those films. Because I was watching the third film, and I haven't seen skimpy clothing like that on female characters or actors for a very long time. They knew exactly who their audience was and how to play on that sort of fan base. You know, it's quite amazing because you watch that and it kind of reminds you of the period of the American Pie period with the films, American Pie films. It's got that stereotypical females wearing hardly anything type thing in horror films and whatnot, but it's, you know, they knew how to make it just actually it reminded me a lot of the Naked Gun films, those old Naked Gun films or Hot Shot films. Yeah, the sort of sexual innuendos and stuff that happened in those films is just fucking hilarious. And you watch it back and you think to yourself, how did they get away with that? You know, because you could not get away with the sort of things that they showed back in the day, especially in those films. There's a character in the third film. Sort of takes a piss out of Eminem. Basically, he's kind of like the guy from 8 Mile. He plays a character from 8 Mile. He sort of takes a piss out of 8 Mile, and he's doing his rap battle sort of thing in the hood in 8 Mile sort of setting, and then he puts his hood up, and it's kind of like a KKK hoodie. And I tell you, you could not get away with that thing with doing that today in a film. It would just be, you know, shut down because of racism and all that sort of thing. But back in the day, it was just a joke. You know, it was just a laugh. So many things you could do back in the day for entertainment, like that sort of entertainment. Nobody got offended. Well, there might have been someone offended, but it wasn't like today. You know, today you can get offended by pretty much anything. But back in the day, it was just water off a duck's back. Is there any portfolios yet? No portfolios yet. Okay. I guess this has just been a normal live stream then. That's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind just doing this, working on this character. In fact, I might work on this character off stream and try and get as much done out of them as possible, because we only have one portfolio review every month. So I'll do is I'll just work on this character off screen and just try to get him done as much as possible. Bungeon says, I have an artwork that you could check out if you like. Where should I post it? Yeah, okay. Is it on an ArtStation or is it? Yeah, let me know if it's an ArtStation link. That would be really handy. If it's not, then if there's a Discord link at the very top of the chat, if you go to that, you sign it, you become a member, then you can just put it in the work in progress section. Oh, because it's ArtStation. Okay, yeah. Put it in the chat and I'll take a look at it. Not looking too bad, this guy. I'm kind of weary about his shoulders. I think they could be a little bit bigger, actually. Maybe pull them out a bit. I imagine this guy swims a lot, so he's probably got really big shoulders. Well, you definitely have big legs anyway, if he was a swimmer. So we got that right at least. whilst we wait for the ArtStation link, we'll just carry on sculpting this guy. By the way, don't forget there is a 30% off on my cube brush website. So that's at the checkout. It's automatic 30% off at the checkout, and you'll get everything 30% off on my online store. So there should be a link in the description box below of this video to where that is. And that ends tonight, so if you haven't already, then check that out. I do want to start making more tutorials and stuff for my stores, but just got to find the time, really. There's so many things I've got to do in preparation for this, for Patreons as well. They get special exclusive things on there as well. So yeah, takes a while to do anything or to make things. Let's just check the YouTube channel real quick and see where we are with the votes. Votes are still holding. 50 Prowler, Pinky 17, Hell Knight is 33, and the Imp at 0. So, yeah. We'll see how that goes, though. Okay. Relax a bit. Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys have missed out on anything I've been talking about. If the internet's cracked out, but looks like something's going on with the streaming services. They're not very well at the moment, not working very well. No idea why. Just there. Let me just check my ArtStation account quick. Whoops. Okay. We're all good on the live stream still. That's good. I need to get a producer or something, man. He's just trying to keep up with what's going on in the live stream as well as trying to sculpt at the same time is crazy. Sometimes I wish I had one of those live streams where I just sat and talk like a Asmongold or something. You know, just sit there, watch videos and talk. But it's a lot more harder to do. It's a lot harder to do when you're trying to sculpt a creature at the same time. He says, Bungeon says, I have sent the link, but it hasn't shown up in the chat. Oh, okay. Strange. Let me just check the... Let me just check again. No, it's not there. Did you try the Discord link at the top of the chat? It should be pinned. If you try that, we can try that again. If not, then if you become a member later on, then you can just chuck it in the work in progress folder, and I can take a look at it there for you and give them some feedback. But, yeah, it's kind of been a bit of a strange one, this live stream. It's difficult to do, to sort of set up these things and work correctly every single time. Final artworks. Owen Pike has added one. Demise of the Shadows. Oh, okay, that's you, is it? Owen Pikes. Okay. Demise. Let me have a look at this one. Visit. Is this your one? Owen Pike. Is this yours? I like this. This is quite nice. Dead by Daylight. Demise from Shadows. Is this a actual piece for Dead by Daylight? Highly intelligent result of a bioengineered. Oh my gosh. Being able to manipulate detail from high poly model, adjusting the height values through the mask editor or fill layer, even more so than I have before. A special thanks to Aaron for allowing me to use the concept for the creatures. Okay, there's quite a lot of stuff in that breakdown. Also learned a lot. Inside Substance Painter, being able to... It's a concept piece. I would like to work there in the future. Oh, okay, okay. As a concept artist or as a character artist or creature artist? Because there's a little bit, there's a difference. Character or creature artist. Okay, let's have a look. It's nice. You've done. That's a nice thing you've done to render it in Unreal. It shows that it's, you know, you got skills in Unreal, which is nice. I think Unreal also has like a really cool rendering engine when you get your head around it. I haven't used it a lot in my own workshop, or in my own stuff, but it'd be nice someday to do that. Yeah. Well, I think you know what it is. I think you can get away with a lot of stuff inside of Substance Painter with this sort of creature, because it's kind of like a shark. It's a shark slash demon or something, right? Like is there a description here? I don't think there's a description. Is there any references? Is the concept? Okay, there's a concept at the bottom. Concept via Florent Desali. Okay. So I'm going to just say it looks like a shark slash sort of something from Tomorrow World. But no, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very imaginative. It's actually a very good adaptation of the concept, which is kind of difficult to do when you've got something that's very basic, like a concept that's very basic like this, which is really difficult actually. But you've done quite a good job on it. The teeth, I think. Let me just check the teeth quick, and the claws. Now the teeth and claws, because you added a wireframe in here, I think the teeth and claws could actually be less topology, because you're eating up a lot of topology by adding all those little bits, those little topologies on the teeth and claws. You could probably drop them quite a bit for the topology on those, but you got a good layout of the rest of the topology, which is quite nice. The high poly and ZBrush, it's pretty good. I think you get, like I said before, I think you can get away with a lot by texturing it inside a substance. And because it's a shark has not really got too much detail on the surface of the skin. It's kind of quite a smooth creature, but I think you got quite good base, a good high poly sculpt, good muscle shapes in here. Yeah, and I think it actually works quite nicely when it's textured as well. Yeah, I think the claws could probably do, I mean, a little bit of thickening on the claws maybe, so they're not so thin. And instead of having that out and then down shape, it should have like a rounded shape maybe, like a eagle's claw or something like that. But yeah, I think it works pretty good. It's a good job, actually. And I like the concept you have here, the sort of final piece, which is quite nice. And you got your texture maps here, which is good. Let's just have a look at these quick. Okay, so it's all on one UV at the moment. UV island, which is going to make the ability to texture it like with high detail quite difficult unless it's a 4K map. But if I was you, I'd probably split this into two. If you were doing more of if you wanted to get more detail into it, I'd split it into two UV maps rather than just the one. But if it's just a creature, a small creature or creature that you hardly see or anything like that, or background creature, then this is absolutely fine. If it's just a portfolio piece and you just wanted to show that your ability to UV map as well as texture, then this is fine as well. I think the layout should be okay. I tend to try and keep the layout as simple as possible. I think you've done quite a good job here. I like to keep things organized as well when it comes to laying your UVs out. So all the little teeth will probably, I like to break up the UV island into quadrants, into 4, right? So that you have, let's say if you have a human, not this creature, but if you have a human, you could put all the head and parts of the head stuff in the top left corner. Then you could put the body and the legs in the bottom left corner. Top right will be the arms, and then the bottom right will be the guns or the equipment and stuff like that. You know, make it clean and yeah. You don't. I think it also comes down to utilizing the UV space, right? Because you want to fill up as much of that UV space as possible, because any wasted space is wasted textured space that you could actually utilize. So I can understand if there's some areas where you couldn't put those parts into specific tiling, but it's a good idea to try and cram as much in there as possible, as well as trying to keep the UVs uniformed as much as possible as well. So yeah, I think you did a good job there with the UVs otherwise. And you got your height map, emissive, all these sort of things, all these maps, these normal maps coming out, which is great. Yeah, again, the teeth and the claws could probably drop the amount of topology on those, unless it specifically needs that much topology. But it's a good sculpt. It's a good adaptation of the concept. So I'd be really proud of that one, actually. You know, it'd be great though if you could maybe take a texture pass on it, like add like a tiger skin texture onto the skin, or a variance of sort of shark skins or creature skins onto it. Then you can show variations of the creature in different textures and different skins that you could add to it. But otherwise, I think it's absolutely fine. It looks really good. I'd be really proud of that, actually. Nice one. Tomorrow says, even Stan couldn't recreate this 1960s character creation success when he returned to the genre in the 90s. Are we even Stan couldn't recreate this 1960s character creation? Are we talking Stan Lee? Are you that far behind with the live stream? Sorry, I think we already passed that point. Yeah, recreate this 1960s character creation success when he returned to the genre in the 90s. Fair enough. Bunjing says, cool, thank you very much. I'll make sure to watch on Polycount. Yeah, I mean, typically, when you're working in a studio, you could actually ask your lead or ask the principal artist or your lead how much topology are we allowed for the character, because there will be a sort of rough set answer on the sort of amount of polygon count that you can use per project or per character, depending on if you're making it for console or for PC. So there's always a specified limitation on polygon count, and it's up to you to then distribute that polygon count as well as possible on your character. Now, that being said, with more and more with the evolution of gaming and the process of gaming, I guess you could say, there's more ability to use more polygons, on a character. So you'll find that back in the day you were set to a certain amount of polygons. Nowadays, within the engine itself, you can actually load the character once in engine to the specific specific sort of polygon count that you want, without having to do it by hand and all that sort of thing. But yeah, there's less limitations on video game characters depending on the video game character. Obviously, if you're doing Overwatch or if you're doing League of Legends type characters, then there's specific numbers of polygons you'll need. But anything AAA style or something like, or AAA graphics and stuff like that for Xbox, PS5 or PC, there's less of a demand that you keep to a certain amount of polygons. There's still a requirement to keep to that polygon count, but if it's 1,000 or 2,000 over or under, especially if it's over, if it's under, it's perfectly fine. But if it's over, then there's possibly you can get away with having like 2,000 over, depending on the characters as well. They'll always try to optimize it as much as possible, but it's better to have a heavier polygon count of your character in engine and then strip it back by using a loading system than it is to have too few a polygon count, and then when you get it in engine and you try to load it, it starts to get really bad, like polygonally, it starts to look really sort of rubbish. So err on the side of more polygons, a few more polygons than a few less polygons, unless it's strictly specified in the studio, the amount of polygons. But that's normally like mobile phone games and like other smaller console type games, I think. When it comes to AAA, there's a wider scope for and relaxation in the amount of polygons you can use. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I hope that made sense. Yeah, good concept though, nice concept. I like it a lot, and yeah, it'd be really cool to have a variation of skins for that creature. So keep that in mind. You don't have to do it straight away. If you're working on another project or creature, then don't worry about it. Work on that. But if you can go back and you have time to go back to do that, then I would definitely recommend adding some variants. Especially if it's a concept piece, because if you want to show off to the person that you're trying to sell this to, then you should be adding some skin variants to it. Even taking it into Photoshop and then doing paint overs of your concept would work really well. Like give it a once over inside of Photoshop if it's just a concept piece. Okay, let me just collect these spikes. I'm going to stick this at the bottom. And I'm going to merge this down. Okay, and I'm going to go to mirror, merge as one, and there we are. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep them as spikes. I think having the big sail on his back and a little sail on his face there is probably going to be enough. I might change it later outside of the stream when I get around to fixing this. I might put a sail on the side of his leg here, like a sort of like a fin on the side of his leg here, just so it sort of keeps with the continuity of the creature design. So we'll see. You'll see that next time, though, when I come back to this. Yeah. It's kind of a shame, though, because I'd really like to get this done and finished. But I also like taking my time, especially with this sort of creature. The more that you take your time with a creature, the better the outcome will be. I have a tendency to rush things quite a bit, though, in my concepts, because I want to get it done and I want to move on to the next one. But sometimes you'll get to creature like this one where you've worked on it so much that you kind of want to take it all the way with the detailing, you know. I feel like this is one of those creatures I could do that with. Bungeon says, I'm currently working on a pyramid head sculpt. I think sculpt including human anatomy, hard surface, and clothing or cloth would help a lot to showcase in my portfolio. Yeah, definitely. Especially with pyramid head, because pyramid head you could really go hard with the sort of skinny hard muscle, if you know what I mean. Like instead of it's not going to be a bodybuilder, which is quite chunky looking. He's going to be quite a thin, gangly guy with some really hard abs and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And if you could do that, right, if you sculpt the abs and the art and the sort of body, especially the middle section, asymmetrically, and you can get those abs looking really strange on his front, it's going to sell a lot better, I think. I think I'm working on a character that I've done that with, and I think breaking up that midsection down here in the middle, right? Breaking this section here is definitely gonna be better. Make it look better. Make it look more organic. That's the word. This one obviously has scales in the front here, so I just left them as it is. But yeah, pyramid head's pretty good one. The actual pyramid, its head, is quite a difficult thing to hard surface, sculpt hard surface. So you're going to do that in Maya first, Blender, or are you just going to try and do it all in ZBrush? Because getting that triangles are quite difficult to sculpt, I think, in 3D, because they're quite difficult to imagine how they're going to fit all together. I always find that with triangle shapes, it's a little difficult to envision them properly. In fact, I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I bring this over and go to my folder here, so this creature or this character, you can see this triangle effect you got on the head here, right? It's actually quite difficult to get that to work, and it took me a couple of turns to get that right. And also, I had to send it back to the concept artist quite a few times to get that shape to work, because triangles are so quite complex things to get correct the first time, because of the way, you know, the angles and stuff. If you don't get that angle right with Pyramid Head's head, it can make him look either too thin or too fat on the top of his head. So getting that looking right is going to be a bit of a task. Yeah. So, triangles, I just don't like doing triangles. Bungeon said, how long would you be giving to work on a creature for professional use. So normally, depending on the studio, depending on the timeline you have for the project, at the moment, probably looking at about 4 weeks per character. 4 to 8 weeks per character, maybe, depending on the studio as well. So if it's AAA, they'll probably give you more time. If it's something like League of Legends, then they expect you to be quite a good sculptor and pick up on the techniques that they use in studio. So they'll probably give you less time, probably about 6 weeks, because of the way that the characters are. You know, they're quite small anyway. But yeah, 8 weeks. 8 weeks per character if it's from start to finish. So that's not just getting a character's concept and just making it, right? That's testing grey box. So you'll go from concept to grey box to proxy to final model. Grey box is basically just getting the character in engine so that the riggers and animators can actually rig the character and animate it whilst you work on the proxy model, which will be the final model at the end anyway, but we call it proxy model because it's still in that gray zone of it's a concept, it can change at any point. So the gray box is basically there for the scale and the position of the arms and stuff for the riggers and animators. And once that's locked down, then you move on to the proxy, and then that will be set in stone, the scale, but the design itself might change. And then that's what you work on for 6 weeks. So you'll have 1 week for the grey box, 6 weeks for the proxy, and then one last week normally for any final touches and stuff like that. So yeah, about 8 weeks, about 2 months per character at the moment. Bungjing says, I was looking at doing the pyramid in Maya or Blender, then using Marvelous for the cloth. Okay, yeah, Marvelous is a good program to use for cloth items. Pyramid for Maya and Blender, yeah, definitely do that probably in Maya. If you're not 100% sort of, if you're not 100% good or skilled enough in ZBrush to do hard surface, then definitely just block it out inside of Maya and then take that into ZBrush. It'll just save you a lot more time. Right, okay, well, I didn't get many. Oh, I got an art portfolio. Ooh, I got one. True Omen. I'm aspiring professional concept artist, mainly using okay, let's do this. This will be the first one. All right, first one of the night, and it's almost at the end of the string. So let's have a see. Let's have a look, shall we? We'll grab this. So this is coming from Alexandra's True Omen Tishans. Sorry if I got that wrong. From Latvia. He's a professional concept artist. Says he's a professional concept artist, 2D Photoshop, who's seeking to learn ZBrush to incorporate it into my design process, expand my toolset. I'm juggling a full-time job. Okay, so he's juggling a full-time job at the moment. And a care for an elderly. Yet I try to squeeze in as much art as I can. That's amendable. I like that. Yeah, commendable. Sorry, commendable. Okay, so let's have a look. I think you got, well, if you're a professional 2D artist, and I can't really say much about that, but if you've been working in the industry, have you? Let's see about quick. Okay. Normally, when I go to the about, when I'm looking at a portfolio as a hiring person, it's nice to have something in the about section about you, like your experience as well as maybe the amount of time you've been working as an artist, and maybe some places you have worked and projects you've worked on. But this is pretty cool. You've got a very good eye for 2D. Is there anyone in particular that you have in here that you would like to actually create into a 3D sculpt? I mean, they are quite complex models. I would say it would be quite complex models, I would say. to try to recreate. If you're a beginner artist, they're quite difficult. Going to be quite difficult to recreate straight away. But I think you got some great stuff in here. This is pretty cool. It's like a tree with a skull. Ribcage trap. Oh, it's even got a breakdown how it works. That's nice. Is there any particular reason why you want to become an artist, 3D artist? By the way, or is it just something that you've always wanted to do, but you never got around to doing it? In fact, I think the best way you could probably, I don't normally say this or just say this about becoming a character artist, right? But because you're probably still learning how to do 3D and use ZBrush, if you get past the basic usage of ZBrush, like the basic understanding of the program, I would probably recommend learning how to sculpt anatomy first. That's one of the basic things you do, is you sculpt a human anatomy. Normally it's a male, sometimes it's female, also female as well, depending on what you want to sculpt. This just helps you to get used to human anatomy, 3D sculpting human anatomy, as well as getting used to the brush sets, so the basic brushes that you can use. If you're not a member yet, my YouTube channel, I have got a full tutorial on human anatomy, a male human anatomy, which we just finished. So if you want, you can become a member. It's like £4, so £4.50 a month. You can become a member. You can watch all those tutorials. I basically go through everything you need to know about how human anatomy is on a male, using a good reference book, which I can't grab right now, but there's a good reference book for anatomy for sculptors. Learn that first, learn how to use ZBrush first, and then once you're comfortable with using ZBrush, I would pick one of your easier models in here, or easier concepts in here, to try to recreate. I'm not quite sure which one would be though. They're all actually, this one would probably be one of the easiest. I think beginning artists normally find it easier to sculpt male anatomy than they do female anatomy, because the male anatomy is so much more. It's such a harder shapes to sculpt, right? It's like hard cuts and hard shapes. Not hard as in difficult, but hard as in the look of it. Whereas females they're much more softer, and there's more care in the curvatures of stuff. So it's a lot more difficult to do female sculpt. So I would, if I was you, maybe choose something that is like this, which is a lot easier to sort of read, especially at someone who hasn't done sort of sculpting before. And if you've done a male anatomy course, then this will bleed quite nicely into that. So you can go from the male anatomy into this and sculpt this afterwards, and at least have some knowledge on anatomy. And then once you get really good, then I would just go ahead and sculpt any of these, because they're all pretty cool. But yeah, human anatomy first. Maybe throw in an animal anatomy in there somewhere if you feel you want to do some sort of animal or creature afterwards. But yeah, you got some nice sculpts in here, nice drawings in here. Sorry, nice ideas. So I like this one, the Weeper. That's crazy. Look at that. Transition to second phase. Ugh. I envy people who can draw like this, so well. I'm trying to learn how to draw at the moment, but it's just it's not the sort of same thing as creature design. It's more portraits and stuff. But yeah, I envy you guys. Tomorrow says, I must have knocked the timeline back accidentally. I was way behind the stream. Yeah, I think I had an issue with the stream a few minutes ago, like a half an hour ago or something. It just went all screwy. But anyway, let's see what the poll is like for the next Monday live stream tutorial. We were looking at what Doom character to create for next week, and it looks like the Prowler is still standing strong at 50%. So let me just grab that reference board. So coming back to this, these are all references from the Doom Eternal. And you can see we have the Imp, the Hell Knight, the Pinky, and the Prowler. And at the moment, the poll on my chat says that people want to sculpt the Prowler. The Prowler coming in at 50%, the Hell Knight at 25%, and the Imp and the Pinky are neck and neck with 12%. So yeah, it looks like our next project's going to be the Prowler, guys. So this should be interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, this weekend, I'm going to grab as many references and set up the files for this. For ArtStation, for the references and files, sorry. And so I'll be ready on Monday so that we can just jump straight in and start having a look at this. So what I'll do as well is try and find different kind of concepts for the Prowler. I don't want to copy it 100% like this unless that's what people want, but I think if we keep this as the main goal, right, and then see what other artists have created as a either fan base piece or alternative concept. I'll grab as many images as I can and chuck them into the reference board, and we'll see what we can come out with. But I think it looks pretty cool, actually. It's a really cool design. I like the idea of this face. It's kind of like body armor that's sort of skin to him. It's quite nice. It's almost insect-like, It's quite cool. So yeah, that's going to be our next project for Monday. I think there's no more portfolios to review, which is great, because it's getting to that point at the night. It's nearly 2 hours long, this live stream. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there for tonight, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Hold on, where is it? There it is. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for tonight, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. This will be the next project, the Prowler, on Monday. So if you haven't become a member yet, then please become a member, support the channel. I want to say thank you to all my members for supporting this channel, as well as my Patreons who supported me outside of the channel. Have a great weekend. Don't do anything stupid. If you are going to do something stupid, don't do it drunk. I'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.